Hi, welcome. I don't know what this video will be like. I've wanted to make this video for a while and I kept putting it off because I didn't know how to. I didn't have very much confidence in how to pull this off with like what to share and how to share it and all the stuff. So here we go. Let's give it a try. Okay, so about a week ago or I guess 2 weeks ago now. I guess it's not been that much. It feels like forever. I've been posting a lot on my Instagram and in my stories. And about 2 weeks ago, I posted a story and I felt very strongly about this and I shared it. I tagged Donna in it. And it was maybe an incomplete move. I can understand how someone on her side might not understand why they were tagged. It wasn't really a conversation opener necessarily, especially having seen her being triggered so easily and not dealing with that trigger, but instead blaming other people for that trigger and feeling justified to have that trigger. And so I admit that it wasn't probably the most thought out plan, but I also was kind of, I guess, myself fed up with, I don't even know what to call it. Bias, I guess, but it's not just bias. We all have bias. It's I will go into what I wrote to her on her YouTube video, one YouTube video, because she ended up doing what she keeps complaining about other people, blah blah blah, and blocked me, and didn't really investigate anything. Didn't investigate. I'm pretty sure she didn't look into the posts that I had and shared and all that stuff. And she just doesn't want to hear it. And, I get it that when you have some sort of bias and you don't want to hear anything other than that. You just put your blinders on and everything, even when it comes from the people that you stand for, that you are united with, supposedly. So I've been posting a lot on my YouTube about, not about, from uh, Jewish Voice for Peace. And this was actually a post that was created with Rabbis for Ceasefire, JFREJNYC, which I don't know what it stands for, and JVPNY, and a few. Let me share. Let me share. All right. So this was, I think, the first post on the post. It's a carousel, and I don't know if I can access it through this, but this is my post. This was my story at the time. This is me probably, again, not sharing it in the best way to open the conversation, but more so to just not cautiously sharing, with keeping in mind that she is easily triggered around this. But again, these are Jewish people. These are Jewish voices. So I've been for a while wondering, and I'm still wondering, what would she say about this? What does she think about this? Or is she aware of it? Is she not aware of these people? Because when everything started, I remember, or shortly after, remember so many people talking about, like, I am not for Israel, but for like the government, for the military action, but I stand with the Jewish people. And there were Jewish people that continuously said this, and it was as if like there were these like two parts of the culture. Anyways, so yeah, this wasn't maybe the first thing, but anyways, I don't know, that doesn't make sense what I wrote. Anyways, Jews say stop arming Israel, and there's fight Nazis, not students. Jews say exodus from Zionism. I learned recently more about Zionism because at first I just Googled it, and Google and everything can be biased. So I was like, oh, great. And then I learned more. I'm like, oh, not great. Jews for Palestinian freedom, opposing pharaohs is a Jewish tradition, no ICE, no fascism, no genocide. Jews say do not comply, come for one, face us all. This is one of the posts. And this is the second one. I don't even remember this. Cynthia Nixon promotes "And Just Like That" wearing the Palestinian flag. And this one, I guess, yeah, it was kind of an instigating. The thing is, I wasn't trying to instigate anything. I wasn't even trying to instigate a conversation, I guess. I didn't expect a conversation. Not instigate, but I didn't expect a conversation. I wasn't trying to poke her or trigger her or anything like that. I was probably coming from my own triggered space or just frustrated space with all of this, and with her, again, not really being for the thing that her her people, her ethnicity, her background has faced atrocious history around, and never wanting to have that again. But it seems like in her mind, it's just, it applies to Jewish people, not everyone. Like, other people can get genocide done. Other people can, have the same fate that the Jewish people had in the 40s. That's what it comes across. And that's, I guess, where my kind of issue stemmed from. It was a few lives before this that I was watching, and it was after the whole Dave Neal and her situation. I don't know if it's still happening. Apparently, it might still be happening. And I remember, like, she went on, I think maybe in that moment or something, she went on this, like, triggered rant. And when I say triggered, I don't mean like, oh, she was upset or what. I mean triggered, like the actual sense of the word triggered. It was coming from a place where she couldn't see straight. She couldn't see really objectively. She was just, it was some sort of, emotionality behind her words that were not, I don't like to say objective necessarily, because, at the end of the day, none of us are truly objective. But, as much as one can, it was just like, just tunnel vision. So I had already kind of taken myself out of that conversation, out of that live. But, and people, a lot of people unfollowed her that day, and told me even, like, they don't want to see her, don't want to, like, look at her content anymore. Like, it's not about her defending Judaism, her defending Israel, her defending the Jewish people, which are different. Judaism and Israel are the same thing. I feel like it should always be that government does not equal religion and does not equal ethnicity, because, like, for example, with Russia, I do not have any ill will towards the Russian people. I don't have ill will towards anyone, really. But, like, I don't equate the, what is it, millions of Russian people with what is happening based on one person's or a few handful of people's choices and desires. And the same thing with Israel. It's not about Semitism. It's about one person in power and a handful of people that support that person, or that created that person, to be in that position to proceed to try to annihilate a whole, like, group, ethnicity of human beings. So this, I thought, because I don't know if she's into Sex and the City, but based on kind of the time that I have watched her videos, she seemed like she would be. And she's all about the, like, gossip, and she has that kind of vibe anyways, like they do. So yeah, this one was a little, like, more like pokey feeling than the other one. The other one, though, that was my genuine, like, what does she think about this? I wonder. And I mean, I was in a triggered space when I wrote that. Like, I wonder how she would spin this. What about all these Jewish people that don't support Israel's efforts to annihilate human beings, innocent human beings, innocent ones. I'm not talking about, Hamas and everyone else. I'm talking about innocent human beings, children and women. Why is it just biased to the women and children of Israel? It is not. There's still women and children, and there's also innocent men on both sides and everything too. But like specifically children, like they really, what are we talking about? Like you have no compassion about them. But yeah, these were genuine questions. I'm not gonna lie. This is a genuine question in my mind. Is she going to like spin? Because this is the thing. When people have this triggered bias or this bias that, gets them triggered, they will do everything to create that confirmation bias and hold that confirmation bias. They like this is what's happening with like any part of like what's happening with the government right now that we are in trouble with. People will like see something, it's like, oh, it doesn't feel right, but and they will find something to weaken that source of information basically. So yeah, was it delivered the best way? Probably not. So let me read what I wrote to her after she blocked me, because I still had a lot to say, and I felt like, well, I don't know if my point got across. Probably 99% sure it didn't come across, it didn't get across. And I don't think it got across with what I wrote, because I don't think she continued to read it. She probably deleted it or blocked me or whatever, hid me from her channel or whatever you do on YouTube. So I said, don't lead people towards hatred and misinformation, towards a worse world full of wars and issues. Lead to love, to a better world with your large platform. Because she has the responsibility that she's pretty huge. She's not millions of followers, okay, but she's really huge, huge enough. And people that follow her also are on her chat and interact and listen to her and all that. So she has the responsibility to check with herself and do good, do better and do good, not bad, and not mislead people towards hatred and worse. Since you ran without any checking, writing this on here in response to your pretty hateful, ignorant response. I don't know if it was like pretty hateful and ignorant, but it just felt like what she had talked about other people doing to her, kind of. Maybe my delivery was triggering and harsh, but it's a valid point you need to address having such a massive platform. I tagged you because it's a serious point I've not seen you address. There are so many Jewish voices for Palestinian support, and you act like that's not even happening or that it's somehow wrong. There have been so many women and children on that side that have lost their lives, and your approach comes across as if too bad or they deserve it because of what a particular group of people are doing in their name, maybe, or not even in their well, yeah, in their name. And also these innocent people might support that group more and more and more as they're being, as Elsie would say, deleted so much. This is how you create terrorism. This is how, like, the groups that have that, this is how you create the government we have. It's by not listening to the people, not addressing them, and also especially if you're trying to like attack them, physically ending them. You can't see beyond your own triggering. Instead of spreading, did I say, yeah, instead of spreading hate and misguidance, perhaps you might do some inner work and help yourself see things more neutrally and fairly instead of with extreme uneducated bias. You have a huge platform and you're doing such an injustice to all of your followers. And it's funny you say to get a life and that I'm disgusting. Oh yeah, I didn't read what she actually said. Okay. Yet you fight against such comments on your platform, and you have such a platform of hate and lack of accountability. I mean, that is her videos. She just talks hatefully about people most of the time, about Blake, about a bunch of like Bravo celebrities. It's not like the most loving environment. You attacked Dave instead of looking inward at why you're triggered by someone being able to be secure and leading by example of how we should all be more healed, less hateful, more love and compassion, willing to find common ground with human beings that are open to do the same and might have the opposite views, understanding that both their views and the others' views come from a same place of wanting to be safe. I'm sorry if I choose love and neutrality, such as all the voices of whatever background they are that fight hate and war, rather than ethnicity and misinformation. So I want to say something. First of all, I don't want to skip over this. Everyone is whatever anyone in this world is doing is coming from a place of wanting to be safe. It is just in our genetics, it's in our biology as living beings that procreate, move on, keep growing the population, etc. And we're not immortal, so we have to be safe in order for the population to keep going, etc., etc. So this is something that I see when people have unhealed trauma. I had a friend who had unhealed trauma, and I understand that things like narcissism and worse can be really terrible. They can create some pretty terrible acts in people, and therefore can create some pretty terrible people. However, I come a lot of times, I try, and most of the time I really want to come from a place where I can at least understand and have empathy for them as human beings, no matter who they are, where they are, what they do. And this is not the most popular. This is not the most popular. This is what enabled me to watch the Apprentice movie without not being able to watch it. This is what I also admire in Sebastian Stan for taking on that role and really being that role for as long as the movie happened and dedicating everything he could to do a great job and to become that person that so many people hate and so many people love, or at least think is doing good in the way that they see you good. And so, like, I really want to not shy away from talking about that, even though it's not popular and it might have people kind of shy away from me or unfollow me or whatever, because I think it's really important to separate also empathy, understanding people, and understanding that everyone's coming from the same place of wanting to be safe. Everyone's looking to be loved and safe. And saying that whatever they're doing is okay. It's not the same thing. You can have and want consequences for people, and you can disagree with people strongly, and you can even, excuse me, label and judge other people's actions or perspectives, and you can um, condemn, like things like racism and so forth in them. However, you can ideally, this is why I love Dave so much, you can separate the person that is just doing what they think is best in their mind from their perspective that you may not understand or agree with and objectively might be wrong, but they're just doing their best. They're just like, they think they're doing the right thing from the actions that they have. So that's one thing. The other thing that I already, in this second or what, fourth paragraph, I said that, um, yeah, I would rather choose love over anything else. I would rather choose voices as well, and support, not promote, well, promote too on my Instagram and so forth, and support voices and people and ideas and so forth that are for love, not for hatred, that are for peace, not for war. And it's not about ethnicity and misinformation. I always think about patriotism, and I don't believe, and that's not the patriotism that I would have, to be one that is blind to right or wrong, love and hatred, etc., etc., just because it's like that, it's your country, it's your ethnicity, it's your religion, it's whatever. I don't think anyone teaches that as far as like religion, you know, gods and guides and so forth. I don't think that's ever been taught. I don't know. I don't know every single religion on this planet. Um, but I think right is over wrong is more so what we're all taught to go towards, rather than just sticking blindly and regardless of their wrong or right to a certain people. So that's what I'm trying to say there. I don't know if I said it better. Voices that fight for justice, for love, rather than personal biased agendas, that love all ethnicities and can see the injustice and separate the bad forces from the innocents, equally supporting and wanting care for both the innocent Jewish and Palestinian people, like the innocent Jewish people and the innocent Palestinian people, rather than the government on either side that is not doing anything good for humans, just personal vendettas. I mean, it's more than just personal vendettas. It is a very complicated, messy place, very complicated, complex, nuanced history. It's not like, oh, just move these people or just move those people or like do this. And there is no easy answer. Because if there really was an easy answer, okay, I'll say that I think there's an easy answer, but our humanity is not evolved enough to be able to like do that or even think of that. But at this time, the way that we are as humans and as a society, we're not there yet, and so there is no easy answer. And um, I think, and I don't know if Hamas is the government, so I'm not, see, I'm not even educated enough, but I know enough and I've read enough and I've talked with people enough that are educated that I know a little bit or enough of it to understand that there are innocents on both sides. And so when I said the government's on both sides, I meant, you know, whatever his name is, Netanyahu or whatever, and Hamas. Like those are the two powers that are at play right now that are just fighting with each other, and innocent people are dying, and that's not okay. And so that's what I'm trying to say with the government on either side. So, again, yeah, maybe do some inner work and lead people towards goodness and love rather than hatred and misinformation, gathering people against other equal people instead of targeting the actual bad on both sides. Especially in today's world, we do not need more voices spreading hate, misguidance, ignorance, and unhealed personal bias. You'll probably block me on here too, and that's sad. That says a lot about you. And since you didn't even do your research on me, and it says a lot about how you're not coming from a loving, good, and educated place inside you, but instead coming from a broken place that you don't want to address to be the best human you can be. Instead, you want to hold on to what drives good people apart. And what I mean by what drives good people apart is holding on to personal bias, to unhealed trauma, to ignorance, and so forth. It's good people that end up fighting with each other because they don't choose the way of healing and being able to have conversations and to see other sides to a story without violence, which I almost equate blocking people. I mean, there are moments like the one from Lawrence Live last night for anyone who was there, but there are moments when it is like for safety reasons it is good to block people in online and in your real life. um I'm talking about more like for these kind of things, like we take an extreme action for something that's not extreme, and but we perceive it as extreme. And so I think that is kind of violent in the sense of like it has that sort of same feeling as if you would like punch someone or something or like scream or whatever. That's what I mean by like, the violent thing. And then I kind of justified my all of this, I guess. I didn't need to justify it, I guess, but I have a lot of years experience with being silent at ignorance and with unhealed individuals that lead to destructive perspectives and approaches to wars and tariffs. That's not my personal experience. It's added on. And bringing humanity down, especially religion based hate crimes. So I choose to give some more context with these comments. I hate the pain the world is going through, and I do not want to sit idly watching anyone promote or continue that senselessness. So this was the conversation. Why are you tagging me in this BS? You need to literally get a life. You are disgusting. And then I responded before I realized, or I wasn't sure if she blocked me or not. And I'm not gonna read this. You can read this. I stand more by my YouTube comment because this was not exactly right away because I didn't see it initially. I saw it close to this time, and so it was a little bit more rushed and triggered. But was this necessary? Am I disgusting? Am I disgusting? I feel strongly that I'm not, period, or I'm not the one, period. So this was the whole big thing. And this is not about her. This is not about hating on, I don't hate her. I think, like I said, she's very triggered and she has unhealed issues that she's not dealing with. And I disagree strongly with her approach because I don't, I don't think any people are above any other people. I think all humans are equal and all humans deserve to be safe, to be alive, to not face what I always want to say Palestine because, yeah, it's weird to say Palestine. To, yeah, to face what they're facing, to um, lose their loved ones, to lose their homes and their cities, and for what? And I don't think, again, I know not much but enough to know that it is not like, oh, they started it or they started it. It is a complex history and it's kind of a chicken egg. It is really hard to say, like, how far back do you go? It tells you, how do I say this? Depending when in history you go, different sides started it. Again, I don't know everything and all the history. This is not a history lesson. This is not a deep dive on this conflict and so forth. That is a lot, and it's a lot. This video was a lot to begin with. But I think I was definitely disturbed by her response. I understand, why are you tagging me in this BS, etc. But I need to get a life. Excuse me, but exactly, I have a life. That's why I am speaking up. That's why I do not stand for the hatred and for the annihilation of innocent people. And I don't think that's disgusting. I think that's very healthy. I think that's more healthy than what you're doing. And so that's all. I guess I forgot about that and I didn't read it before starting this video. But I guess that's what inspired me to reply, and to reply such lengthy reply that she probably didn't even read. Or if even she read, got more triggered, or didn't understand. Because again, when we're triggered, blinders go on and we only see with the filter that we choose to hold on to, until we choose to see that filter for what it is and still support our people, support innocent people, and also be able to support other innocent people as well. So I feel very strongly about that. Again, that is why I wrote this message to her. This is why I initiated the whole thing. This is why I am making this video, because I really strongly, strongly feel frustrated and helpless and scared for humanity if we're just having these voices that keep spreading misguidance. I think that's the best word right now. Um, it also helped me, honestly, having this interaction helped me recalibrate a bit further back into myself, because for a long time I just went under a rock. I'm like, there's no point. I have no power. There's just too many voices that are full of hatred and bad intentions or bad actions that lead to really destructive things for humanity, for myself, for other people. And I also, just in general in my life, I kind of just shut down a lot of my functions. And so this is, this helped me come back a little bit to one of my very strong core beliefs and what I feel like is in that coding that I was born with, which is I want this world to be a safer, a more loving, a more beautiful place that it can be. And it's up to us to help create that. And I saw something recently talking about inaction is, and kind of demonstrate, I think it was on NPR, demonstrating inaction is equal to supporting the wrong side, the wrong side being the side that creates more hatred, creates more bad. I don't like evil because that's more like religious connotation, but yeah, more evil, more, and also like, it has a lot of connotations when you say evil, but more bad stuff happen in life and more people getting hurt and more senselessness, bad stuff, senselessness. And that's, I guess, where I'm coming from, and I'm coming with peace, and yet peace does not equal okay, do whatever, say whatever, I'm okay, I'll be nice. I feel like I'm being quite nice. I didn't swear at anyone. I didn't call anyone names. I was called a name, kind of. I didn't I don't, and I didn't hate anyone, her, etc. I don't, yeah, I don't know. So I think, sometimes peace is strong. Sometimes it's not soft and gentle. And I don't even know if I could say that. I feel like it was in between for me, like I'm not the strongest person, I feel like, but I'm not also like the softest. So anyways, this was the video. So here we go. I really would love to put this on YouTube, and maybe I will. Maybe I'll post it like a few months later or something on YouTube as well. But I do think that this is a great space for this video on Patreon, or, it's kind of, yeah, whatever. So, yeah. I don't know which side you're at and so forth. It doesn't matter. The only side that I hope you're on is love and peace and goodness and not having people die on all sides, and that all humans are equal. If you're not on the belief that all humans are equal, that's a fundamental issue with us. So you might not like my channel, especially going forward, the more I'll be more outspoken about it or so forth. So cool. Have a wonderful day. And I'll see you later. I don't know how to close this. Peace, love, and compassion. I feel like this ending, this phrase that I use, is more applicable here than ever. Peace, love, and compassion, and empathy. Bye.